Dillian Whyte gives the drop on how Alexander Usyk will fare at heavyweight, says that he won't do well at heavyweight, and tells you how to beat Alexander Usyk and how he will beat Alexander Usyk at heavyweight, and also calls him out for a big fight if he wants. We back, Goodfella Sports TV. Y'all know what the business is. One time for the one time we grinding. And Dillian Whyte in the Sky article, I'll link to the description as always. You know, he says that how you beat, Alexander Usyk is that you just wear him down. You nullify his movement by closing the distance and roughing him up and beating him up. He said Tony Bellew hit him with some shots on the side of the head that he was complaining about that he didn't like, and that that he's going to be outweighed by 20 or 30 stones at heavyweight, and he would just be too rugged, and an average top 10 heavyweight would be too rugged, too rough, too tough for Alexander Usyk. Basically he believes it's a bad style for him. For most heavyweights, he say his movement may beat some heavyweights that are lazy, but for a real heavyweight like himself, it won't be a problem. He said if you want to fight with him, he said he's the can man. Anybody inside the top 10, can't get it. And it's funny how Dillian Whyte is playing with all these, hypothetical fights, and most people already think he's going to get a layup versus Anthony Joshua in April. That's what many people think. But maybe it ain't such a sure thing that he will get that layup versus Anthony Joshua if he beats Derek Chisora. But it's everything that World Breaker was saying on the live stream earlier. So everything Golden Gloves was saying. Boxing saying that on there as well. And Dillian Whyte said he needs a few fights before he even get to Anthony Joshua. He said, why not fight him? So maybe Dillian Whyte is anticipating he won't get the Joshua fight. Maybe he anticipating he lose, and then he want to come back and tune up and then eventually get Alexander Usyk. But that's a problem. All that movement, guys are just going to bully through that movement, close the distance, and beat him up. Tony Bellew, I hate when fighters do this, when they get knocked out and then they criticize a fighter's punching power. But Tony Bellew said that Alexander Usyk wasn't the biggest puncher. Now, that looping right hand from the southpaw position looked pretty hard to me. But most people would tell you that Tony Bellew got fatigued. He was tired, and it was more fatigue. And I think the mental pressure and the volume of Alexander Usyk wore down Tony Bellew. And I think a lot of it was more mental than people realize. Just the mental pressure of him just countering you and changing speeds on his punches, and how methodical he was with his movement really winted out Tony Bellew physically as well as mentally, knowing how to attack a monster like Usyk. But Dillian Whyte, why not try your hand at him? He came over to the UK. He trying to make a stamp in the UK. You are a pay-per-view fighter in the UK now, and why not? Why not call him out and set that fight up just in case you don't get the Anthony Joshua fight, or in case you get Anthony Joshua, you beat him or lose, you're already building up the fight. And apparently Usyk is still over there checking out a derby or something like that. But it'll be interesting, to be honest, to see how Usyk looks at heavyweight. But everything that he said is true. He's going to get outweighed by 20 or 30 pounds. And even more. Because if he comes in, let's just say hypothetically, he comes in at 220, okay, like Deontay Wilder. That's roughly about 30 pounds less than Anthony Joshua. And that's almost 100 pounds less than Drill Big Baby Miller. Him and Wilder would be the same size, but we know the strength ain't the same. Luis Ortiz will be 20 pounds heavier. Dillian Whyte will be around 30 pounds heavier as well. So that pity pat and that movement, it won't necessarily, deter most guys. Because most guys like Dillian Whyte or Jarrell Miller, who love to mix it up and love to come forward and don't care, are going to take chances and erase that distance. Unless Usyk is just a master of distance, which I don't believe he's that good at controlling distance. Well, I don't think he will be that good at controlling distance at heavyweight, because you have to worry about the size of the heavyweight, the will of the heavyweight to come forward like Miller, like Whyte. So does he have enough power to keep a Big Baby Miller off of him who outweigh him 100 pounds? Or keep a Whyte off of him now outweigh him 30 pounds? I don't think so. Now, Anthony Joshua is a different story. Joshua isn't the type of guy that's going to come over there and run you over. You know, not off the rip. Towards the end of the fight, he'll fill you out, box you for a minute, and then he'll go in for the kill. I believe his movement might bother Anthony Joshua, a guy that, quote-unquote, might be considered a lazy heavyweight because he has stamina issues and he moves like a robot. He's not going to go balls to the wall and just go in there and steamroll you and beat you up. We know that. So I think stylistically wise, that's one of the best matchups inside the top 10 for him. And if you come up short, you're not facing the biggest puncher. If you come up short, at least you went for the gusto. At least you went for the platinum standard. Everything under him, especially if you can compete with Anthony Joshua, people going to think you can compete with everything under him and still money to be made and a rematch to be had if you get acclimated to the division. But Dillian Whyte shares the same sentiments as most people on the outside looking in that's not Alexander Usyk fans. Most people in boxing feel that Alexander Usyk got exposed yesterday and that Tony Bellew wasn't shit, never going to be shit, never can be shit. We know Tony Bellew was not good, and people was trying to stretch his talent out to make Usyk look better. But the fact of the matter is he struggled with a domestic level UK fighter. So how are you going to go to heavyweight and beat those guys? And people say, well, you know, he beat up Joe Joyce in the World Series of Boxing. Joe Joyce has got 8 fights. He ain't that good. He's 32 years old at this point, and he's not Tyson Fury Wilder. I don't believe he's that. I'm not sure if he could beat some guys inside the top 10 right now. That's my personal opinion. But Dillian Whyte is exactly right. All you do is got to close the distance and beat Usyk up. And can Usyk fight on the inside? I don't think so. We seen with Lomachenko. Once you close the distance, you took away those angles when Salido did it. Yes, Lomachenko lost if you didn't know. When Salido closed the distance and made it a dogfight, he couldn't do nothing. He learned as he went. But nobody has yet to have the skills and the experience in the Mexican savvy style that Orlando Salido had with Lomachenko. Nobody's ever brought that flavor back to the ring versus him, and that's by design. Nicholas Walters was like Kovalev, a puncher, a big puncher that likes to keep you at the end of his punches to gain leverage. Miguel Moraga, he wasn't that good. Rigondeaux, he was shorter and smaller. Okay? You know, Linares, he's another guy that's fast hands, like to keep you at the end of his punches. Alexander Usyk hasn't fought a Dillian Whyte yet at cruiserweight, as funny as it sounds. He hasn't fought a guy that can go balls to the walls, that's going to take it as good as he give it and be on the inside mixing it up with you. He ain't fought that style in Miller, and I don't think he has ever fought a style of a boxer like Fury who can control distance and feint you. You know, how would he, deal with somebody that's 6 inches taller than him? If Fury's in the right state of mind, how would he deal with Deontay Wilder? He puts the earmuffs on. He's not that defensive wizard. He doesn't have great head move. He has great movement with his feet and bends at the knees, and that's fine. But he get tagged with a lot of right hands and he's a southpaw. Wilder put his lights out, and Wilder's faster than him. And people say, well, Wilder is so sloppy. It don't matter. His movement works for him. His movement is awkward. You can say what you want to say, but his opponents come to him, right? All the Wilder opponents come to him. And now he's working on front foot. And people say, he only got a right hand. That's not true. You get that from a novice person or a hater. Obviously, he knocked Luis Ortiz out, I believe, with a left uppercut. Obviously, his lead left hook is better than Anthony Joshua's. Anthony Joshua's lead left hook is a mess. And I'm not saying Wilder's the platinum standard. And obviously, Wilder's jab is better than Joshua's jab. And I said it again. Yes, it is. Does he need to develop a right hook? Yeah, I think a right hook would be well. But when you got a windmill right hand, that's tough. He put his lights out. Fury and Wilder is the toughest fight for him. I think the best matchup inside the top 10, people might call me crazy, is Anthony Joshua. Due to a statement that Dillian Whyte made, a lazy heavyweight. And I'm not saying he's lazy, but Joshua doesn't have the best condition. He got tired in the Alexander Povetkin fight. Joshua moves like a hunk of metal. No fluid movement. You can call Wilder sloppy, but Wilder's movement is better than Joshua's. Joshua's sloppy. No upper body movement, no bend at the waist, no bend at the knees. Usyk movement will be trouble for Joshua. And on top of that, if his stamina carries he going to have better stamina than Joshua. That's just the fact of the matter. That's legitimately his best matchup in the top 10. Every other matchup is dangerous. Miller, that's a terrible matchup for him. Joseph Parker, I think that's a terrible matchup for him as well. Dillian Whyte, another terrible matchup for him. But, you know, Dillian Whyte ain't hating. Dillian Whyte say, come get that smoke. You know, come be on pay-per-view and fight me. And, you know, Dillian Whyte smell blood. And does Alexander Usyk need a couple tune-ups? Yeah. You know, a Dave Allen, possibly. He might punch a little bit too hard, but a Dave Allen, a Charles Martin, you know, a Trevor Bryan, a Frezzo Quindo. He needs somebody, Alexander Povetkin, maybe a second fight at heavyweight. Maybe do a fight in Russia or somewhere. But like I say, you know, pairing him on Anthony Joshua undercards would be great. He should come back on Anthony Joshua's undercard with Dillian Whyte or Derek Chisora, whoever he fights April 13th in Wembley, and fight good opponents. Dave Allen versus Alexander Usyk would be a great heavyweight fight, or Charles Martin on that undercard. And then about a year or two down the line, he could be ready for whoever. If he can get past some of the tough competition, he's eventually going to have to fight a Miller, a Whyte, a Tyson Fury, a Wilder, before he gets to Anthony Joshua, in my opinion. Somebody of that nature, not necessarily a Wilder or a Fury. But, yeah, let me know how you guys feel. It's Goodfella Sports TV. I'll link the Sky article to the description. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram. We're on Facebook and Twitter, not on Instagram anymore. Also, you can email me as well if you got any questions or concerns. Want to make a donation to the channel, that link's in the description as well. Also, you can DM me on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you share the page. You also can share these videos across social media, screen record them, share the links. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the bell icon button. I definitely appreciate everybody supporting the channel. And we're going to continue to switch up the boxing, switch up the sports, switch up the topics. And I definitely appreciate everybody that's holding us down, man. Continue to, you know, share, comment, subscribe, you know, share the page with other people that love sports and boxing as well. Y'all know what it is. We gone.